What's going on, New Gaming Order? This is the staff coming at you with a WrestleMania 31 reaction podcast. Now, the Mizzle, Nelson, and myself just finished watching WrestleMania. I myself missed the first half of it. I'm actually watching it now in my little window here. But what we're coming at you just like we did with our Fastlane podcast. We're going to kind of dissect, give our opinions of some results, how things unfolded in this year's WrestleMania, aka the Super Bowl of sports entertainment, which is its supposedly separate from pro wrestling. But with that, Nelson is going to pretty much be controlling the first portion of this since he has the results and everything, and we'll just take it from there.
Alright, so let me cue up the first picture for everyone of exactly what went down. And the very first match is the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Championship match between Cesaro and Kid. You had the New Day, you had the Los Matadores, and you have the Usos.
Now, Nelson and Mizzle, since you guys saw the match, and I'll let Mizzle go first, but since you two saw the match, what were your impressions of performance, how the booking was set up, and how it unfolded? So, Dave, go first.
I think that the match was pretty good to open the WrestleMania. Well, I think it should have been on the main card itself and not the kickoff show. I think that was a waste. But it was a solid match overall. I think... What the heck? Okay, but I think that it was a good match. I think Tyson and Cesaro really showed what they had in the tank. Even though I do think Cesaro should be a single star by now, it's just for whatever reason the WWE doesn't believe him in.
It's Vince. It's Vince, actually. I heard him on Stone Cold's podcast.
Yeah, and it's just stupid. I mean, the guy is a legit star. The crowd gets behind him. He has an impressive moveset. He has the look. If they give the guy some mic time, I think he would be like in the upper mid card or like touching the main event. He would be where Roman Reigns is right now.
Yeah, I agree. And, a lot of folks say that, Vince was saying on Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast that he lacks the it. What the fuck is it? Is it charisma or... I don't get it. Like, stars aren't born like nowadays. They're manufactured. You gotta mold them into being that superstar, and if you're not giving them the chance like they gave The Rock and Stone Cold, because remember they were gonna fire The Rock like after the Maivia thing, his injury and all that, and when The Rock said, just give me the mic, let me have the mic, and if you smell what The Rock is cooking was born. You know what I mean? So let them, I don't know what it is, the whole corporate side of things, like they need a quick turnover on if they like you or not. Ryback was you see people who are behind him, but he didn't have the wrestling skills, so to speak, like Cesaro. But it just mishandling of folks. Like, they can handle that a bit better. But without going off on a tangent, Nelson, what were your thoughts on that tag team match?
Well, I thought it was a good match, even though it was a part of the kickoff show.
It should have, and not to cut you off, the Paige, AJ, and the Bellas, that could have been switched. That could have been on the main show, and then that match could have been on pre-show.
All the matches could have been on the main show. We'll get into that a bit, reason why I think that a little bit later, but...
Okay. But yeah, go ahead, Nelson.
Well, again, as I was saying, Cesaro and Kid has been, they are showing some impressive talent, forming up as a tag team. Tyson Kidd has been doing very well, exceptionally well on NXT, because he goes back and forth between shows.
Cesaro also.
Yeah, Cesaro. Well, I mean, Cesaro basically, came from that, but still, they've been showing exceptional skill within NXT, and I'm surprised they brought a little bit, not like a lot, but a little bit over to like the main show. And I just felt like the New Day was like not pushing what they supposed to. They just seemed like a crappy gimmick. So I really didn't like care too much in the sense of the whole Kofi Kingston and Big E, Langston and shit like that. The Los Matadores, again, that's like a joke team because you also saw Natalia get involved and do the sharpshooter on the little bull. Like, it was somewhat of a joke match, and I felt like the match could have went better if the other half of the Usos didn't get injured prior to like the first 30 seconds of the match, when Cesaro just like ran up and just like bombarded his shoulder or leg or whatever.
Yeah, one is legitimately injured. Why was he even in that match?
I honestly don't know what their angle was.
They couldn't pull him from the match, so they had to do something like kayfabe wise to get him out of there. So
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but I guess just to like wrap up my opinion on the match, like it could have been better, but there was some highlights in there where they did like the double suplexes off the top rope, or they did some like crazy as Hurricane Ranas or uppercuts or some tag team moves. Like the Los Matadores did an interesting move when I don't remember which wrestler was on the top rope. I must just say Tyson Kidd, just out of nowhere. One of them had powerbomb the dude off the top rope, and the other Las Matadores like ran up and did like the code breaker that Jericho does while he was doing the powerbomb to him. I thought that was pretty impressive.
Oh, so that sounds cool. That's some Dead or Alive type.
Yeah, I found that
team.
pretty impressive. There was some switches in the match because, you know, they have the mask on and, like, you know, they rolled out the ring to try to fool the referee and shit like that. But
I'm watching the. You know what? I'm sorry, but I'm having a reaction to that ladder match with Daniel Bryan.
Try to contain that to yourself, but it could have been better. But you know, it was a good, okay match. I give it like, you know, like if I had to rate it out of like 1 out of 10, I'll probably say like a 6. It wasn't all that good. It could have been better if like everyone was participating, like out of the Usos. But you know, you had like your little side shit where what the hell is her fucking name? This guy's wife, not Natalia, the other one.
Naomi.
Naomi did participate in the match as if like she was in it. Like she ran with like I think her husband. I think that was participating, and they did like they ran to the turnbuckles and they both flew out the ring. You know, she like bopped Natalia with her big ass butt. You know, her little signature and shit.
Oh yeah.
So you know, it was okay. You know, it wasn't like oh shit, but you know. It was okay. So I will switch the card right now. Okay, we're switching the card, and we will talk about now the Andre the Giant Memorial match that has happened right after.
Yeah, I saw the last part, so the highlight with that. You know, overall, before like the ending of the match, how was it? You know, the Mizzle, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Like, was it?
It was a standard Battle Royal. It was like
nothing that really stood out.
Like, yeah, there was like really nothing that stood out because guys really couldn't do much of anything. So it was like, okay, standard Battle Royal, but I don't think Big Show should have won it. It made no sense for him to win it because they're not going to do anything with the Big Show.
Exactly. You know, the conclusion of that match, I was, when I was looking at the highlights, Mizdow, you know, had his WrestleMania moment against Miz and finally, you know, turned on him, right? Kinda, yeah. You know, it was still kind of lukewarm in how that unfolded, but if you think about it, Mizdow has so much to gain from winning. Why the hell did you give it to Big Show, who's already had tag team titles, IC titles, WWE titles? He's already achieved, you know, and this is the problem with WWE writers and the booking. You got all this new talent that needs to start getting elevated. You know, Cesaro won it last year. You know what I mean? Now you got this, like, Big Show, okay, yeah, you know, he got it. You know, you saw him posing with the Andre the Giant statue and everything. Got it. You know, but you need to start throwing some of that holy water on your new talent that really could use that. But that's how I feel about it.
The impressive thing was when they had Big Show sort of kind of skin the cat, and I was like, okay, that's impressive. It must have reinforced the rope seriously for that, but it was still kind of cool. But yeah, they shouldn't have had Big Show win it because it does nothing. It's like, really?
Well, it's what it is. It's what it is. All right, Nelson, your thoughts on the Battle Royal?
Well, the Battle Royal, again, is just a very standard. There was nothing too crazy, except for some key wrestlers that I did wanted to win. If anyone has noticed on the stream, all 9 of you, thank you guys for watching. And thanks to, I think, Barb 1014, 21 Isaiah 21, and the arm... okay, I don't even know how to pronounce that whole thing, but... Thank you all you guys for following, all 3 of you. Back to my point. You had some key wrestlers that I actually wanted to see in that match. Like, Hideo Hitami was in that match from NXT. I found that very cool that, he did a little something, but, Big Show made him look like a fucking ragdoll at the end of the day. Ryback was actually doing good.
Yes.
He really, really good in the match.
But Big Show bopped him.
Yeah, and also Big Show bopped the fucking entire the New Day team on his own, and I don't know, it was just weird how Big Show just mushed everybody, and for it to come down to the final 3 how it did with the Miz Dow, and the Big Show, I found that to be kind of cool. Because then it finally showed that Mizdow was ready to let go of the ball and chain from the Miz and finally make his push, which everyone thought that was going to happen, and surprisingly, Big Show just said, you know what, this is mine. He just took it. Some people in the chat might disagree with me when I say this. Yeah, Big Show did win, but then again, as what Bradshaw was saying, he is the only wrestler that was really remotely close and compared to Andre the Giant. So it kind of made sense.
That's like, it was kind of like a notch on his belt.
Right.
And they've been saying that ever since his WCW days.
Exactly.
Like when he first showed up, he's like, that's the next Giant. I remember there was a whole angle where they're trying to say that's Andre the Giant's son. That wasn't.
Yeah, but true, but for him winning that was just like a little like gimmick, like, okay, I am exactly like Andre the Giant, or even better, since I am here now in his place. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a whatever match to me. It could have been anyone's game. It could have been Cesaro. It could have been Ryback. It could have been Hideo Hitami. It could have been Mark Henry. It could have been Mizdow. Hey, it could have been a lot of people, but
yeah, you know what? Responding to Barb 1014, I was saying that they should have let Mizdow win that, but for whatever reason they gave it to the Big Show, and
you know what? I would have honestly gave it to the smallest guy in there, which would have been Hideo Itami.
That would have been cool. That would have been cool.
Like, so unexpected, and it would have been so cool at the same time had they done that. Because it's like you giving NXT some shine, and you're giving this international superstar, because people who are fans of wrestling know him simply as Kenta from Pro Wrestling Noah, and that's the originator of the Go to Sleep. And it was a cool thing for him to win it.
Okay. Well,
Very
with that.
True about that.
Okay.
Also,
So what? Go ahead.
Thank you, Kitty Robot 22, for following. I am checking the follows as it pops up on my phone, since I had no time to set up the notifications on the stream.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the chat right now because
Okay, so now I'm gonna switch the card again, and we're gonna go to the very first match of the actual WrestleMania event, not the kickoff, and that match was the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship.
And I was watching it as we were setting this up. Holy hell! Yeah. So Nelson, since you're already talking on it, what are your thoughts, highlights in that match, and response to the conclusion?
Well, honestly, I am not surprised about the outcome of the match. I'm more surprised of like how everyone performed. Everyone did very well.
Yes, they did.
I give it to all, 7? I give it to all 7 of those wrestlers, man. They did their best. They did the, oh my god, absolute best. The thing that drove me insane is that they took a lot of risk. A lot of high risk in that match, especially Dean Ambrose when he got powerbombed through the ladder by Luke Harper, and the shit dead split in half.
Yeah, like, when I saw that, when I went like this earlier, it was like it looked like it was a second ladder. It was the longest ladder they had. Got freaking power bombed through it, and I was like, did the dude get lacerations on his back? Like, oh my god! Like,
he was stunned. Like, he was stunned. I can tell you that right now. He did not expect that amount of like force going down like that. You can see it in his eyes. Mm-hmm. And you had a lot of little funny instances where like some of the wrestlers would like run up as fast as hell on the ladder and try to like play like little monkey grabbing the banana and shit like that. You know, that was pretty funny. But what really did spark it, again, I always will say this, Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler are such great performers.
Yes, they are.
And they have great chemistry together. For them going at the end of like the last 2 minutes of that match, headbutting each other repeatedly over and over and over and over until the outcome just happened. Mm-hmm. And again, the outcome I don't really agree with 100%. I just felt like the WWE felt some type of sympathy because they took his title away from him at the previous WrestleMania, and they wanted to redeem him by just giving this away to him. Not discrediting the fact that he's a good tactician wrestler, but I felt like Ziggler or probably Dean Ambrose should have took that. Daniel Bryan already has a good following. He has a good following behind the crowd.
I heard Nelson. I heard Daniel Bryan got that title because he never won that title.
No. I'll explain. I'll explain why.
Yeah. You know, go ahead, Nelson, and then I'll go to Mizzle.
Well, just like I said, round it off. I give that match like a 9 out of 10. It was a very good start of the beginning of the actual WrestleMania moment. I really did wish that you know, Stardust did a little bit more because it seemed like he could have. Wade Barrett, he did a lot of powerful clotheslines. He did a lot
and
of
the bullhammer elbow.
Really good. But I wish the match would have went a little bit different in pace, like more of like everyone trying to go grab the title or someone hanging off and they're fighting or something, like, you know, a little bit more suspense. But it still ended pretty cool. Daniel Bryan is victorious and he is now the new IC champion.
All right, Mizzle, your thoughts on that match, booking, pace, and conclusion?
Nelson pretty much summed up what I thought of the match, so I won't go into that aspect of the match, but I will go into why Daniel Bryan won the title. The reason why Daniel Bryan won the title is because Brock Lesnar re-signed for 3 years, and he's still going to be under a part-time schedule. And since he's going to be under a part-time schedule, and I don't want to spoil anything just yet, but Daniel Bryan is going to be one of the people that's going to be looked upon to lead the house shows. Like, he's going to be the main event of the house shows because he's going to be that person to elevate that title.
Yes, I agree.
Because, like it or not, like, I know a lot of people will agree with this, is that the IC title hasn't really meant anything since a long time. And
because of the way they treated it and the booking, it's like, what the hell, you know?
Like before, back in the 80s and the 90s, like, that used to be like you were the number 2 guy in the company, like you were the next come up. Like, and go back, look at the feuds that Stone Cold and The Rock had with the IC title, and The Rock and Triple H had with the IC title, and like Macho Man and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat had with the IC title. The IC title used to be a very important title, and I think they want to get back to that with Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan, because they do have such great chemistry. They can build a feud off of them simply wrestling and nothing else, you know?
Okay.
So I do look for them to elevate the IC title and make it more important than it has been in a long time, and I think Daniel Bryan, the guy, is the perfect guy to do that, because the guy is a very good wrestler. He's a very good ring general. and he can cut a decent promo, and against a guy like Dolph Ziggler to play off of, like him, Dolph Ziggler, Dean Ambrose, and
you got Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, you got Cody Rhodes. You got all those guys in that match that would make very good feuds within that little circle. So, yeah.
All right. And
now, you know what?
Real quick.
BAP 1014. I guess. Which is he disagreeing with?
Hold on. Before you continue, Roger Newman 1994257. Thanks for the follow. Okay, go ahead.
All right, and to 21 Isaiah 21. Thanks for checking us out. We appreciate you participating. So, next match, Nelson.
Okay, let me switch the card real quick. Yeah, you can keep talking. Go ahead.
Oh yeah.
You said someone disagreed with something. What did they disagree with?
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat. I didn't see what he disagreed with.
All right, the next match is Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins.
And I'm still watching that as we speak.
So Dave, take the lead on that, and Alex will go, and then I will go last.
No, actually, you can go because I'm still watching that.
All right, so go ahead, Dave.
I felt that the match was a typical Randy Orton match. Like Seth Rollins tried to get into a rhythm with Randy Orton, but I don't think they have any kind of chemistry. It didn't feel like anything special. It just felt like the atypical Randy Orton match, save for the end, which was the countered curb stomp into the RKO. And the way it was countered is Seth Rollins tried to do a curb stomp. Randy Orton stood up at the moment of impact, launched Seth Rollins into the air, and RKO'd him.
Or Bubba Cutter style.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was essentially the highlight of the match. But I felt it was the typical Randy Orton match. It's like, okay, RKO off the top rope, and Randy Orton's, he's a solid wrestler. He's just very predictable. You just don't feel any sense of surprise when you watch a Randy Orton match. And I know he's been in there with good wrestlers, and they've tried to make him look good, but it's very hard to make Randy Orton look good at this stage in his career because he's just so set in his ways.
Okay. And you know what? Somebody agreed with you, Dave, on the chat. 10-14. Yeah, it was predictable. Look at the position that Randy was in. So, and to think that he ended up getting the title that's in the same night. You know, it already was put out there in this chat. So, but yeah, Nelson, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I do agree. Like, it was kind of like predictable, but the thing is like, just to see it happen, guys, with that RKO was still pretty fucking badass. Like, that was like really cool. But with the match itself, I felt like it was just like a quick revenge match to prove a point that Randy Orton was like waiting to actually get his hands on Seth Rollins. And, you know, match was pretty good. I mean, the outcome was kind of crazy. Like, he tried to curb stomp him, and apparently he went off of his shoulder. Randy Orton, like, somewhat, you know, catapulted him slightly, caught massive fucking hang time, and then just bapped him with the fucking RKO. That was like a crazy ass ending. No one saw that shit coming, even though it was somewhat predictable from, you know, what this business said.
Here's the thing: how many memes are you gonna see with Randy Orton RKOing people?
Yeah, that's gonna be more now.
Now, considering that he decked him earlier in the evening, will he get a title match? You know?
Honestly, I don't know, but I will hold that up answer to the end of like the last card. I will come back to that question.
Isaiah, hold on. The chat, 21 Isaiah 21 asked if we can sing Randy Orton's theme song. I am not a singer.
Nah, chill. I'm not gonna start.
Like, you be like, I hear voices and
they talk to me.
They talk to me.
Unbelievable.
Definitely not doing that.
Our fans are something else, man. That's funny stuff. All right, so continue, Nelson. I'm still watching the match.
It's just like I said, it was pretty good. You know, they both performed really well. Randy Orton just had like a lot of feeling in that match. Like you saw, like anytime when he RKO's somebody, he shows like this ridiculous emotion. Like he enjoys fucking RKOing people. Just like
Yeah,
how
he's in character. He's in character. He made the diamond cutter his. It's not like, you know, he does it like Bubba. It's not like he does it like DDP. It's like his way. He can catch it anywhere, you know.
Yeah. Then he also like RKO'd both J&J Security on top of that. So
Why is Jamie Noble always getting RKO'd like that? Unbelievable. Oh my goodness. And you know what? Isaiah was like, "We're the best." You know what? That was the Mizzle singing it. You know, so I'm just saying, y'all crazy. All right, so what's the next match in the shoot?
The next match, I'll pull it up right now, guys. Sorry, I'm a little slow on like switching because I'm using a program to do so. And the next match, you know, crazy how this match was up next afterwards. Sting versus Triple H.
Now, you know what, New Game in Order fans, I missed seeing it, but I know what happened.
Oh, that entrance, boy! God damn!
Ooh, man. They went all out for that one. Now, here's my thing, before I let Mizzle talk on this. That match should have been deeper into the pay-per-view. It did not deserve to be a mid-card type thing. That's, you know, you had, right after that, you had the Bellas and Paige and AJ. That should have been front-loaded first, and then put Sting, Triple H, then the Taker, Bray Wyatt, and, you know, the championship match. But that's, I don't know, maybe they used it for the bathroom break or something. I don't know. But, you know, Mizzle, your thoughts on Triple H versus Sting?
Okay, I'll be the first one to admit that I didn't think this match was... It wasn't that the match was anything special, because it was a match between a 50-year-old man and a 40-year-old man. It was the extras that was surrounding the match that's what made this match really good. Mm-hmm. And you got to kick it off with Triple H's intro. Triple H's intro was dope.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yo, Triple H, as much of a Triple H fan as I am not, I will readily admit that the man has some dope WrestleMania entrances.
Yes. Hey, he's up on par with like Taker's in WrestleMania.
Nah, he's better than Taker's, because Taker's is just a variation of his whatever gimmick he's using at the time. It's just a variation of that, and it's just like druids, fire, coffins, tombstones, yay, Undertaker, whatever. But Triple H, man, I gotta give the man props. He came out with the freaking Terminator theme. Terminator, like, he had like an exoskeleton on and everything. And I thought that was dope the way they did that. But the match itself, it wasn't anything special, but the extras with DX and the NWO coming out. And it was fun stuff. It was a fun match. Like, the match itself is like a very average match, but the extras surrounding the match is what made it special.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, how did Sting perform? You know, we haven't seen him in the ring in quite some time, and he's older than Undertaker. So that's another thing to bear in mind. Like,
Sting looked like Sting. If you watch TNA wrestling for like the past 5 years, you know what to expect from Sting. So he was typical Sting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So Nelson, your thoughts on that match, which turned out to have a meltdown towards the end.
Holy shit! I have to say, I am just amazed of that fucking intro. I'm gonna remember that for a couple of days. I tell you that much. But it came out. It was like a regular intro showing off the San Fran area and stuff like that. And you see the bridge, and the next thing you know, it starts like fizzing out. And it says like, oh, I'm coming for you, blah blah blah. The next thing you know, it zooms in and like this reticle thing, like it's searching for someone, and you see like the Terminator like scoping out the fans, and it says like enormous threat warning, searching for Sting and shit like that.
Oh, that's tight.
And
that's
then
tight.
You see Arnold come out, and it's like, oh, it's Judgment Day, it's time to play the game. Cuts in, you see the Terminator figures come out from the stage, and Triple H is standing there, and it looks like he has like an upper layer part of like the Terminator piece of himself and a helmet with like a lock on or red eye.
Yeah.
Yo, shit was bugged out. And then on top of that, he had like the heads of like all defeated Terminators while he was yelling. I was like, oh, yo.
Triple H for WrestleMania, like he has the most unique intros when the match calls for it. You know?
But I definitely don't discredit Sting's intro because, like I said, I have a big thing with Japanese culture, and that was actually pretty cool what they did for him for that intro. It was nice. It was nice. It wasn't crazy like Triple H. But it was nice. But out of like the performance of how Sting did and whatnot, he still has it. You can tell like he's slightly sluggish, but he still has like his basic moves like the Scorpion Death Drop, the Scorpion Death Lock. He could throw. He could do punches, the splashes, the hype. He brought all of that. And then like what Dave was talking about, they brought out DX. They brought out NWO. Shawn Michaels came out, and my thing is, the outcome of that match, it was just a reenactment in their eyes of what happened a couple years ago. We'll say 14 years ago or something like that, when WWE has finally defeated WCW. So I just felt like it was a message being sent to the crowd.
This was essentially the embodiment, like
of the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like the blow-off match that people didn't get 14 years ago, like WCW versus WWF, the physical embodiment of WWF finally defeating WCW.
Yeah, it was like to get people caught up. It sounds like you know, for the new generation.
But it was still pretty cool to see everyone like Nash, X-Pac, Scott Hall, Hogan, Shawn Michaels. You know, the Road Dogg, Badass Billy Gunn. It was really cool to see everyone there. You know, doing their little skits. And
why did he get RKO'd like that? Unbelievable.
And whatnot. But overall, it was a good match, and at the end, Triple H did shake his hand and gave him respect at the end to Sting.
Now, they said that in the chat. 1014 said he showed sportsmanship. So, I mean, it's what it is, you know. And to think that he did shake his hand, like, you know, it kind of broke the character, so to speak, because Triple H is that, you know, corporate heel. You know, like, I thought he was going to ride with that, but if he shook his hand, maybe it's more like, hey, it's an honor to have been in the ring with Sting, the leader of WCW that never left the company even when it was sinking. You know, so that much respect to Triple H for doing that. You know, so with that, Nelson, take us into the next match.
All right, let me load that up real quick. Alright, the next one after that, we had somewhat of a short break after that. You know, you had like the little music performance and stuff like that.
We'll skip that.
And whatnot. So the next match after that, I believe, was, from my memory,
the Bellas.
The Bellas versus AJ and Paige.
You know what? I would say that match, AJ looked like she was a lot more aggressive in that match, and she was pulling out, you know, a lot more. I guess, you know, folks are chanting CM Punk and everything, but you know, you can tell that they were pushing themselves for WrestleMania. They're on the grandest stage of them all, whatnot. So the one thing I really did see that they were trying to put their A game out there, you know, despite it being placed in the card, so that, you know, if folks had to step out or whatnot, then, you know.
Right. Real quick, Sonic O'Shea 1, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it.
All right, we got 11 folks checking it out. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate the support. New Gaming Order, we're really trying to grow. And there's Ronda Rousey with her over 9,000 t-shirt, aka Vegeta style. Gotta give her props for showing up. That was fun.
It's over 9,000.
Oh.
But I'll say my little input on this. Like I said, it wasn't really much. Like, I would just let you guys know, everyone in the NGO crew and also from Free Play Mode, we consider this a break match. This is just something you get something to drink, get something to eat, use the bathroom, whatever.
I literally took a piss break on this match. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I took beginning with the musical thing. I cooked some dinner. I took a piss, came back, match was over. life was good.
Yeah, so, it is what it is, but, Paige and AJ did win the match, which was actually pretty cool, and it might spark into something, in the future, but there was also something that was mentioned during the kickoff that Lita and Trish Stratus might want to do a promotional match between the Bellas, like a tag team, so we might see something in the future. I don't know if it was, taken lightly, but... we will see. So I'll move on to the next card because, like I said, this match wasn't really that important. So we'll move on to the next one. And that one, if I'm not mistaken, was the John Cena versus Rusev match.
Okay, to get started, Rusev's intro was straight out of Rocky 4. Straight up. That was Rusev Drago. So, you got Rusev with the soldiers and they're marching. Man, they really went to town on that intro. That is second only to Triple H's. You had Rusev coming out on a tank and everything. They were marching in formations, and they had the Russian national anthem playing. I mean, wow, that was some serious stuff. I have to say that was cool. As far as the John Cena. Before he came out, they were, had Obama, Bush, Reagan talking, and it was some Captain America, I'm gonna, that video that they played before John Cena's match is what gets soldiers to join the army type stuff. I'm like, what the hell, really? So, interesting stuff. But the match itself, I was kind of debating if, with the way Cena got blown up at the last pay-per-view to come back and kind of reverse the tide, just to say, you got to make it believable. Rusev beat the crap out of Cena, even though they cheated in the last one, but it's just man, how do you go from one direction of wind to another? It should have been consistent. But go ahead, Dave.
I gotta ask you something. Which wrestling promotion have you been watching for the last 10 years that you expected them to do something totally different with John Cena? Come on, Alex, for real?
Oh, here we go.
When have you ever known John Cena not to get the revenge win over somebody? The only person he doesn't have a revenge win over is Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
And I mean,
but,
come on.
Yeah, the thing was, I don't agree with how he just was more of a match for Rusev this time around as opposed to what happened last time.
Dude, look at the Brock Lesnar match. Brock Lesnar destroyed him in their previous match, suplex after suplex after suplex. It was literally a squash match, and then the next match, they're like, oh, let's have him go toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar because he's serious now. I'm like, come on. So, it's really? Did you really expect them to not have... And it was the typical John Cena match. Have John Cena get dominated, then all of a sudden gut it out for the AA at the end, out of nowhere, pull out the win. Typical John Cena match.
Nelson, they're saying Suplex City.
Well, yeah, it definitely was Suplex City. I can honestly admit that.
Right.
So am I giving my points on
yes.
this match? All right. While I'm downloading this picture, because I kind of did forget to download the Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker card, but this match was a whatever match to me because they just basically said that, all right, Rusev had his push for a very long time. He was undefeated as soon as he came in from out of NXT into the WWE. He was mowing down people, story-wise. And John Cena tried to step up to the picture and try to play a hero. Got bodied the first time, even though he got kicked in the nuts and got
they cheated. Yeah.
And then, this time around, it was like, I'm going to win now because if you don't, I'm going to bitch and cry some more kind of match. But... I mean, it was a pretty stale-ass match. Rusev kind of, in my opinion, took the majority of that match as of, I would say he was kind of carrying Cena, in my opinion.
In this match?
In this match.
You think so?
I think so.
Oh.
I honestly think so. Because Rusev definitely, despite the fact if you guys hate him or not, he knows how to perform. And he definitely knows how to push someone to make it seem like, either they suck or, let him get mowed down and stuff like that. Because Cena only did one new move out of his arsenal, and that was a springboard stunner that they're calling it now.
Actually, I kind of dubbed it that because I didn't know what to call that. He pulled Rob Van Dam and Stone Cold in one move, But
he did, but then again, like I said, in my opinion, Cena should have lost again, and then hyped it up even further with a different wrestler. I don't think Cena should have won the U.S. title. That's just my opinion.
Matter of fact, WWE's booking screwed up. They should not have taken Ryback out of that after the whole firing situation in terms of the story.
Yes,
a lot of people were saying that they really fouled up there. So... Oh, Sting came out with a red jacket?
Yep.
Yes, he did. He came out with a red and black scorpion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Let me get back in here for a sec.
Okay.
The reason why, as I said with Daniel Bryan, the reason why they had Cena win the U.S. title is because they want to elevate both the U.S. and the IC title. And I honestly think they should just do away with the U.S. title, just merge them with the
IC. Yeah. I see. Matter of fact, the U.S. title is a WCW title. If
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I remember they consolidated so many titles because they had too many floating around. So if they do that, though, here's the issue with that. You have certain folks, title holders, right? And you have a large roster. A lot of people will kind of get buried in their quest to try to become a champion. So that U.S. title is kind of like, okay, if in the interim of things you look at it, U.S. title, IC title, WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So they kind of need that, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So to do away with the title, I think it would hurt some of the new guys who really needs to say, hey, you know what, you're not quite ready for this, but we'll give you this and see how you do. I think that's something.
Yeah, but you don't need 2 second-tier titles, because you have enough talent to make it worthwhile feuds for the IC title. If you're relegating, say, Daniel Bryan and John Cena and I can throw Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose and a couple of those guys down there into that scene. It does more than elevate that IC title picture, because then you have you can also elevate John Cena, Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins to your main event scene. And that'll be, you can easily rotate Daniel Bryan and John Cena in and out of the IC picture scene while you have those people down in the IC title scene, and especially people like Mizdow, Cesaro.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think you need 2 second-tier titles to do that.
Okay, good stuff. Why does Sting look like Richter Belmont or a Belmont with that jacket walking around in the ring? Unbelievable.
Really?
I'm like, what the heck? Got that long jacket. Crazy.
I'm gonna switch the next card now, and that was the card I just downloaded because I thought I had it. Apparently, I did not.
Okay.
So we're gonna push that one up right now, and that one is the Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt match.
So I'm gonna let you go first, Nelson, while I watch Triple H's intro.
Okay, so this match was honestly, in my opinion, it turned out pretty well. I mean, a lot of people suspected that Undertaker was going to be scrawny like he was the other year when he fought Brock Lesnar. He wasn't going to push it as much, but he did perform a little bit better than the previous year at WrestleMania 30. I just felt scared for him because when you saw him staring down Bray Wyatt, he was literally stumbling and shit and tipping over himself and stuff like that. I don't think that was fake or nothing. I think he was you need to chill, Undertaker. You need to get some oxygen in your body.
Do you think it's still residual from the concussion? I mean, it's been a year.
It's been a year, so I don't think that's the case. I just think that he physically doesn't have it no more. I think he's fully worn himself out after all those years and years and years of fighting, throwing himself off the cage, the Hell in the Cells, the tables, the chairs, fire matches, you name it. This guy's been through a lot over the course of his wrestling career, and that's why he always makes that once a year match. So he has time to regain, time to chill, see family, whatever he has to do. But I honestly think he needs to chill and just stop. I think this is a good time in his career to just say, all right, guys, I came back. I could just make appearances, but let me rest in peace. Like, literally, just let it be.
Unbelievable, Nelson.
You know what I'm saying? But it was a good match. It was good to see Undertaker again. It was good to see him in action, do his little thing, do the tombstone, choke slam, the whole sit-up thing while Bray Wyatt was on his fucking, you know, his hands backwards and shit. That shit was crazy, but he needs to rest in peace for good. And that's just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think in the chat, but let us know. And next person.
Yeah, I know Garcia was just like, his cousin loves Taker. He's from Houston. You know, they're down south and everything. So
that's cool.
Yeah, and then I thought it was disappointing. Just, you know, checking out a couple. That Triple H intro, wow.
Yeah, like JBL said, he wanted to end it how he wanted it. Yeah. That's very true. But again, like I said, he's good. He's a good wrestler, but you're too old, Undertaker. You need to chill. Just chill the fuck out. Just fall back. If anything, if WWE respects him that much to keep his legacy, find someone that will be able to carry the Undertaker, and find someone remotely close to him and do a resurrection. Like a revival in a younger body or some shit like that.
Oh, yeah. You know, I had that thing in my head kind of too.
Do something like that. Just do a new look. Like, go back to the old Undertaker with the smoky purple gloves and the smoky outfit and the tie. You know, make it long hair. Make it look mysterious again. There's a lot of people that would love to play Undertaker. I'm pretty sure if you guys knew a long time ago, Diesel or Kevin Nash played as the twin Undertaker back then.
No. That was Primetime Brian Lee.
You sure? I swear to God they said it was Kevin Nash.
No, it was Primetime.
Brian Lee.
Yeah, all right, so Brian Lee.
Brian Lee is like in his 40s now, man. He's not a young dude anymore.
No, I know that, but I'm saying like Brian Lee.
Triple H is in great shape, bro. He really got prepared for this WrestleMania. Just a little sidebar. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, but Brian Lee, because you just corrected me on that. He was literally mimicking the Undertaker back then when they did that little skit. Like that. Shit was
the Undertaker versus Taker. And for a while, I thought it was him, but then when Paul Bear, I'm like, wait a minute. And then you take a closer look, and like, oh, wait a minute, he's a little bit shorter. And then when Taker came out at that WrestleMania, like, holy shit, like, what the hell's happening here, you know?
Yeah.
But all right, the Mizzle, your thoughts?
I thought this could have been the perfect passing of the torch match, because even though Undertaker lost to Brock Lesnar, it didn't feel like the torch had been passed, because Brock Lesnar was already an established superstar, so it's not like he needed that win to elevate his career. I've always been of the mindset that if the Undertaker was going to lose the streak, it should be to someone who's coming up, and this could have been Bray Wyatt last year. And now it just felt like the match was meaningless because you had Bray Wyatt hyping up the match for 6 weeks by himself.
But he was doing a good job.
Yeah,
he was doing an excellent job.
It just felt like the culmination of a one-man show where a second person just intrudes to steal the show, and it just felt like the Undertaker stole Bray Wyatt's spotlight. And the match didn't feel it. It was like, okay, typical Undertaker match again. Tombstone, opponent kicks out, opponent finisher, opponent kicks out, looks bewildered. Tombstone again, Undertaker wins. It just felt like the previous 21 WrestleMania matches that he won. And he should have been gone a long time ago because, quite honestly, I was tired of seeing the Undertaker 6 years ago.
Okay.
He's
And
he's literally stealing the spot from younger talent who need that time to elevate themselves. This match doesn't elevate Bray Wyatt because Bray Wyatt's coming to work on Monday. Undertaker's going home chilling. Bray Wyatt's going to be on Raw looking like a fool with a loss to a guy who wasn't on Raw for 6 weeks. So it does nothing for him. It just keeps him in the same limbo that he was in before this match.
all right, and I'll wrap up. Most of the new Gaming Order fans know the Mizzle and I usually go back and forth and don't always agree on some of our wrestling stuff, but I do respect folks' opinion. One thing I will say, I am an Undertaker fan. I've always have been. I'm also a realist too. But starting in the beginning, we hadn't seen Undertaker at all, except for the little signs of his return during the month and a half of the promo. But the one thing I will say, and I was saying this when Nelson, Mizzle, Shinwar, and I were watching WrestleMania together, was the fact that Undertaker came out looking a lot more healthy. He looked in much better shape. He actually had hair. He looked like the Undertaker that showed up to face Kane when he had came back from being buried alive and whatnot. It was the American Badass mixed with the Dead Man. All right, so he looked good. He came in shape, so it was good to go. As far as Bray Wyatt's intro was pretty sick, where he had the scarecrows. They were like still, but then when he went up and touched them, they actually came to life and started doing like some Michael Jackson Thriller stuff as they walk into the ring. So that was cool. The new Face of Fear versus the legendary Phenom. Now, I read on a couple of forums that to actually go against what Mizzle was saying, Bray Wyatt being in the ring with Taker, it's win or lose is not a bad thing, but it's like this man is on a pedestal on like a high tier, like, hey, Bray Wyatt's fighting the Undertaker, and for a lot of folks that would just say, okay, who's the next guy, and then they'll start paying attention to them. Now, I do agree in the fact that Brock Lesnar last year didn't need that win, and I still believe that he didn't deserve that win over Taker, but I know that they did it to kind of, what's supposedly best for business, to build Brock Lesnar for something bigger, to turn him into that monster heel, that he once was back in the day. But I agree that that streak should have been saved for a Bray Wyatt or a Roman Reigns. A new person that can use that to elevate themselves. Now, when, Bray Wyatt losing to Taker, I don't think it hurts him any. He got in the ring with that man, and with the type of promos he can cut, he can say, he can work it any which way he wants. I think it was a positive that he got a high caliber match like that. So, it just shows that I read in another article that as long as Bray Wyatt looks like an equal, or he looked like he can take the Undertaker, it would only help him, And with Undertaker's advanced age and everything, recovering from injury, I think that Bray Wyatt was doing a very good job in protecting him and carrying him for majority of the match, because obviously Taker bulked up a little bit, but he had an issue where beefing up and not working on the cardio. You gotta have a balance of both. But overall, it was your typical match. I thought Bray Wyatt was going to win, considering what happened last year. And a victory for Taker at WrestleMania is no longer guaranteed, because you never know where they're going to go with it. But overall, intros are pretty sick. The match, it was decent at best. It wasn't like the best, performance by Taker, but Bray Wyatt was doing his thing. So I think it was more about Bray Wyatt than anything else. But I think the match, it was decent at best, and it doesn't hurt Bray Wyatt any. So with that, Nelson, anything you want to... hold on, let me make sure I'm not skipping anybody. Now, you know what? 10-14. A good push for Brock. You can't push somebody who's already been pushed, who's already established. You know, I don't think that Brock was the one. Vince chose incorrectly. It could have been anybody else. Me, I don't want the streak to end, but if it was supposed to end, it should have ended with somebody who had so much more to gain from it.
See, but I'll respond to that too, because like even though I didn't want Brock Lesnar to fight the Undertaker, the WWE in a way kind of trapped themselves into having the Undertaker have to lose Brock Lesnar, because it's like, okay, how do you go against the guy who's the former UFC heavyweight champion, a legit combat sports champion, beat by the Undertaker? How do you go against the guy who was one cut away from making an NFL team despite not having played football since his senior year in high school? How do you go against the guy who was a legitimate NCAA heavyweight champion? Like, you have all these legitimate credentials backing Brock Lesnar up, and then you throw him against the Undertaker. It was like the WWE is kind of forced into that corner. Like, okay, we can't legitimately have the Undertaker beat Brock Lesnar. That would not fly, because you have a guy who is legitimately legit. Mm-hmm. And then you have the Undertaker, who's never fought a real fight a day in his life.
So can I interject real quick?
Go ahead.
Then why Kurt Angle lose to Undertaker?
Kurt Angle didn't lose to Undertaker at WrestleMania. He never.
But in general,
in a match.
But in general, despite the fact that Kurt Angle is probably still one of the best wrestlers I've seen to date.
Him and Benoit, Bret Hart, that caliber type.
Like if it was my opinion, if Kurt Angle was still in the WWE now, he'll be schooling the shit out of half of the fucking roster.
Wait a minute. Okay, well, hold on. Responding to 10-14. How would it have been unfair for Undertaker to defeat Brock Lesnar? Or how would it have been unfair for Brock to lose? Brock has already been established at the time, being the first, one of the youngest WWE champions in recorded history. The guy was on a rampage. He took out Hulk Hogan. He took out so many people. You know, he didn't need this. It's like, I would put it in the same category as Big Show winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. He didn't need it. His performance in the ring, so you know, and that whole persona that he embodies, the Beast Incarnate, it pretty much sold it. You didn't need to give him a streak that. But then again, I know they said that. Think about anyone in the locker room who could have believably broken the streak. And if they go on that merit alone, then I can say, okay, I get it. Brock had to break it. But the booking was bad. He didn't have to face Lesnar, but Bray Wyatt could have gained more from that last year, like the Mizzle had said, in his time. But it's what it is. But Nelson, you were saying something?
No, I was saying like the whole thing with Kurt Angle, because if you want to throw like, you know, credentials, Kurt Angle has been up there, and I still state to this day, if Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar was to fight like right now, wrestling, not MMA, not no throwing crazy blows or nothing like that.
If it was straight up wrestling, Brock would school Kurt. Like even Kurt says, like even Kurt has come out and admit that Brock would beat him due to his sheer size and athleticism. Like if you've seen Kurt Angle in an amateur wrestling match, he was never the biggest guy. He was more technically skilled than his opponents, but Brock Lesnar is the combination of power and skill in amateur wrestling, and he would have steamrolled Kurt Angle in a legitimate amateur wrestling match.
I don't know, man. It's just like a lot of people, in my opinion, just seem to get like, you know, pushed to the side because of like the sheer massive size of Brock Lesnar. It's like, oh, he's a big fucking dude, but he can move as quick as like any other wrestler, and he does this and does that. But I don't know. It's just me just thinking like, you're overhyping this fucking guy. There's a lot of talent in the back. That's mainly, I will say, from NXT. That can do way. Let me lower this music down because this is way too loud.
You know what, Nelson? I agree. Seth Rollins in an interview has stated something where, you know, when Brock does grace them with their presence. You know, he's gonna cash in the Money in the Bank, blah blah blah. You know, to bring it back home. You know what I mean? Yeah, there are other talent out there. You keep pushing this guy and all this. Wait a minute. Oh, my fault. I lost track because I was watching the match. But it just could have been handled differently with that whole push thing. But you know, I don't want to get too far and keep focusing on Brock. But in terms of that match and the streak thing, hey, we can address it on the next time we're doing like a post pay-per-view thing. But
yeah,
Nelson,
but
take us into the next match. Or
let me finish my thing and I will do that.
Okay.
I just think that the NXT roster right now, and I'm gonna name 3 people off the top of my fucking head that I think that should get pushed right now at this point in time. I will not say Kevin Owens because he just got there, so give him a little bit more time.
Owens, fight Owens, fight.
Kevin Owens is good, but I will just let him sit there and marinate more because he just got into NXT, and some people who don't know who he is need to know. But Adrian Neville, Hideo Itami, and fucking Finn Balor need to be on the main roster right now. The shit that they can do is insane. Like, bonkers insane. I'm talking about, like, over the top, ridiculous performance, and they got stamina to no extent. Like, you wouldn't believe the amount of stamina these 3 wrestlers have. And they can school half of the fucking roster, in my opinion, due to their accolades and their achievements that they've been doing all over the world. You know, but
why is Scott Hall looking like unbelievable?
But to take it into the next and final match, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns.
What up, Slinky Jim? Oh, go ahead.
Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, and then after 15 minutes later, Seth Rollins to make it into a triple threat match. I will say my opinion about it now since I'm talking about it. And I said this on the party chat when all of NGO and Free Play Mode was speaking about it before I got a disruptive phone call. I did not like the main event match. I did not like it because of the fact... Whoa, why is there a gap in this song? Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Fast forward this.
Wow,
there we
the
go.
NWO,
Okay.
they're all old. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, but the amount of, you know, credentials Brock have, all the shit that he can do, and stuff like that, you sat there and German suplexed the man mad times. You have other shit in your arsenal that you're being lazy. You're getting paid all this fucking money, you're limited on the shows, and you're not performing to your absolute best. And you're making shit work with Roman Reigns. I understand Roman Reigns is not going to beat him pound for pound. I get that. But Roman Reigns was doing much more moves and was trying at least. Brock Lesnar was getting busted open. He got popped at the ring post. It stunned the shit out of him. He got dazed out for a quick sec. And,
there was blood. There will be blood.
There was a lot of blood. Roman Reigns was bleeding in the mouth internally. And then he tried to do like that, you know, that comeback factor from Rocky 3 when you heard the tin boom, tin boom, tin boom, but all them fucking Superman punches.
He hit him with like 3 in a row.
Yeah. And next thing you know, Brock Lesnar was about to end it again. He did the 4th or 3rd F5 to fucking him.
Roman Reigns, I will give him this. He took 4 F5s. 4. Taker took 3 last year, so I give that man, however they wrote it, I give it to him.
He got hit hard, but as the way how I wanted to end, before I say like exactly what happened, I wanted the match to end clean, whether if it was Brock winning or whether if it was Roman Reigns. I wanted to end cleanly, and then for what had happened at the end, to let it commence and let it take its fold. But Seth Rollins took advantage, just like every person in the Money in the Bank takes advantage.
Edge made it like a practice to be the ultimate opportunist. You know, unbelievable. That.
And he took it upon himself. Let me raise this volume up. All right, here we go. So he took it upon himself. He came down the ring. Brock Lesnar was not pinned, by the way. He got Roman Reigns, 1, 2, 3, ran out like a bitch, and now he's the new champ. I don't like that.
Nelson, the thing is, with how they built Brock Lesnar up, who was going to beat him? This was the only way they can get the title off of him. So it is what it is.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They could have just did it the whole story mode, which, like I said, in my opinion, it was unfolding. Roman Reigns is doing the whole Rocky 3 moment, busting out the Superman punches. Could have ended it with a spear, and he could have got a lucky ass win. Just because of Brock's dazed little moment.
Yeah,
or
I think Roman was gonna win, and that was what was floating around on the internet. But when I saw, I forget what website, Inside the Ropes, they're talking about be surprised by a WrestleMania swerve, and they did. Because hell, we knew I heard Bray Wyatt was gonna beat Taker, and look what happened. Now we thought Roman Reigns was gonna win, and look what happened. So
this just creates a lot of what the fuck moments, because in my opinion, story build-up wise, you wasted the man's time building him up,
and then
winning the Royal Rumble, getting to beat almost to beating Brock Lesnar off of a fairy tale moment. Seth Rollins comes and takes it in, and everyone's pissed now.
I'm not pissed.
Well, that's probably because you like the wrestler or whatever. That's your shit. But I like matches to end in a fair manner. Then if the match is ended fully, then come out and do your little bullshit and then take the title however you want. And then I'll be mad at that.
Because I thought that it had to be after a match or something. Maybe I have to do some more research, because I was there when I was actually at the arena when Dolph Ziggler cashed in his Money in the Bank against Del Rio. It was after the legitimate match, right? So it's like, did the rules change or what have you? Or was this damage control for how they botched the whole Roman Reigns build-up, just so you can have this guy come in, through the intersection and T-bone his car? It just completely...
Did you see that comment that, I think, Brock 1014 said, once Brock takes off the gloves, he can't hit because he's pro?
Or, you know what? Me and Mizzle are like that, too. Anytime you're trained in combat, for me, doing McMap in the military, Kempo Jiu-Jitsu in my civilian life, like, you got to be careful. You get your hands registered, you hit somebody with your bare knuckles and you cause damage, assault with a deadly weapon. So it's what it is. I know exactly what that's all about, but it's he has to be careful with that. But I don't think he should have taken the gloves off.
Yeah, I agree as well. He should have never done that. But continue. Someone else was
go ahead.
I loved it. Like, I'm glad the way they booked the match was perfect, because they couldn't have Roman Reigns be any kind of match for Brock Lesnar. Like, this is the man who's beaten John Cena handily. This is the man who's beaten like, coming from a storyline perspective, what does Roman Reigns have to offer Brock Lesnar that John Cena and countless other better wrestlers didn't? Like, seriously, like, take that into account when you say you're mad at how the match was booked. And like, Roman Reigns, I don't think was ready for this match from a storyline perspective, because I think the WWE ruined him. Like, they saw dollar signs too fast in Roman Reigns, and they pushed him too fast. Because, like, at the Royal Rumble last year, well, not last year, the year before last, he almost eliminated 12 people, and he got the monster pop, and people were for Roman Reigns.
But then when he wins it the next year, it's all terrible.
The reason why, like, Roman Reigns is a victim of unfortunate circumstances and WWE's greed. He's a victim of unfortunate circumstances in the fact that Daniel Bryan got hurt and had to relinquish the title. So he never truly lost the title. And then he's the victim of WWE greed. Well, still with the more unfortunate circumstances, Daniel Bryan comes back just before the Royal Rumble, and everybody shits on Roman Reigns now because he's the guy that was being pushed that everybody liked. But here's this other guy that everybody likes even more coming back, and you know how faces, like, people pop for the face when they come back from injury, especially a top face. And Daniel Bryan kind of engulfed his shine, so to speak. Like, people were like, "Oh yeah, Daniel Bryan's back. Fuck Roman Reigns. Daniel Bryan's back." And he's a victim of WWE greed, is because they saw dollar signs in him, and didn't wait until he matured. Like, they're like, "Okay, we got to push this guy right now," because.
But you know what? That's not the entire. You know, the thing with the Royal Rumble. It's because of how Daniel Bryan got eliminated. That's when the whole Roman Reigns hate started. You know what I mean? Because everybody knew, you know, the fans aren't dumb. We're all interconnected with Twitter, Facebook, WWE Network, and all that. And as soon as Daniel Bryan got eliminated so early in the Royal Rumble, everything after that went to shit.
That is also true. We can follow that under unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah, it was bad booking. He should have been one of the last three with Roman Reigns in there. And then maybe
people would have accepted Daniel Bryan being eliminated by Roman Reigns in the Final Four. Like, people would have accepted that.
And that's why they had to do their match to kind of like do damage control, where then Roman Reigns beat him. It's like, okay, that should undo that fiasco of Royal Rumble.
Do it. Like, they had to, like, kind of try to have Daniel Bryan legitimize Roman Reigns in that match, and it didn't work out the way they did. And the reason why I say he's a victim of WWE greed is because WWE saw dollar signs, and they pushed him too quickly because they were like, okay, we gotta push this guy, and we gotta have him win the Rumble, and they exposed him. Like, as Paul Heyman famously said, accentuate the positives, hide the negatives. Positives is Roman Reigns does really cool moves and he looks good in a match. Negatives, he can't talk and he doesn't have ring generalmanship, so he needs to be in there with a better wrestler, and the less he says, the better. And WWE not only made him talk, which was a complete disaster, which got everybody turned against him.
No, but you know what? Here's the thing. They tried to make him talk the way they wanted to. They should just let him be him. You know, because like it was unnatural. Like if you just let the guy, you know, do his thing, I mean, I think he would have been all right.
But in the Shield, he was like the man of very few words, and you can't carry a main event without talking. Like the reason why Brock Lesnar is able to do it because he has Paul Heyman's. There are not Paul Heymans floating around there that you can just pick off a tree.
Yeah, he's the last. He's the last of dying. Like you don't have managers like that. Mouthpieces.
He is literally the last
one.
Great managers in wrestling, and that's what Roman Reigns needs. He needs a manager. He needs a mouthpiece, and so he can at least cut a passable promo. And that's ultimately why they had Seth Rollins win the belt. Because Seth Rollins can carry a promo. He can carry a wrestling match. He's a more compelling villain to go up against a face Brock Lesnar and a face Roman Reigns. Like, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar is like, okay, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar going after Seth Rollins, that's great. Because he can make them be themselves. He's that villain that they can play off of.
Yeah.
That was funny and random. Slinky Jim said Brock is another Bill.
Yeah. Oh, Bret Hart and everybody giving Daniel Bryan props. I'm still getting caught up. But, yeah, I'm going to give my my impressions before
go
we
ahead. I'm just going to switch it back to, like, the main WrestleMania logo. So just to wrap up. So go ahead. You keep
All right. Oh, unbelievable. Farouk comes out, damn. All right. My thoughts on this match, like me and Mizzle were relating to, Roman Reigns was a victim of bad booking from the Royal Rumble. You know, folks were for him, but then when Daniel Bryan got, ripped out of the main event picture, they just started shitting on him. Then, when, the whole build up and everything, it was like that underdog story, David and Goliath going up there and, hey, you know what? Let's make this happen. But sadly, it's just, me and Nelson and Mizzle were having, I guess, a dispute in terms of, like, Brock is a phenomenal athlete, but, in ring, it doesn't seem as exciting to watch him,
Not anymore, in my opinion. Back
Yeah,
then, when he
back then.
first came, woo, what a fucking sight to see. But now...
Yeah, now it's like, he's mixing all the UFC stuff in there. It's just, to me, it's kind of boring, I mean, like, and I'm going to bring up what we were talking about. Like, a lot of people crucified John Cena for the 5 moves of doom, but you got Brock Lesnar doing the same move 16 times against John Cena. 16 times. So, it's like, how are you going to get on one guy for 5 moves, but then you got somebody doing that same move 16 times in the match? That's not something, okay. It's like playing Street Fighter and somebody keeps throwing Hadoukens all day. All right, are you going to entertain me or something else? Like,
the only thing that I would say on top of that, though, Alex, despite the fact I didn't like how, they dropped Cena 16 times or doing the same thing in this match with Roman Reigns, but a lot of people would say, and I'm pretty sure Dave will agree on with me on this, if the fans deserve or desire a certain someone gotta mute that stream because I hear me double. Whoever's watching the stream gotta mute it.
Okay, I'm not watching it.
I'm not watching it either.
All right, so someone has to, cause
yeah.
But you gotta realize, like, a lot of people didn't want John Cena to win against Brock Lesnar, so naturally the crowd was like, fuck it, let Brock Lesnar manhandle the shit out of him despite what he's doing, because we want Cena to lose. And it could have been in the exact same way how people didn't want Roman Reigns to win despite what Brock was doing, whether if he was underperforming or just performing just enough just to move. Roman Reigns was still the person to lose in that out of the fans' eyes. They didn't want him to win. They wanted to see Brock just maul him however so possible, whether if it's at 5s, whether
So
it's
they'd rather see a
suplexes.
man get punished because of bad handling from management.
Right.
Bingo.
Now, here's my thing with that. I sympathize for Roman Reigns because it was in a bad situation with bad booking. I don't blame him for anything. And the fans should know better. They should know better. If we're so smart, why couldn't they recognize that, WWE mishandled everything? Now, the plan for Roman Reigns to get pushed was in the works like a year before that. So that's something that, and Mizzle, I'm pretty sure you know that they wanted to work that. And said, hey, all right, we're going to wait for that. We were even saying, all right, we know they're going to push Roman Reigns. When is it going to happen? Maybe they should have taken more time to space out his momentum. But, with that being said, the match itself, there was some, it was kind of sluggish, but, Roman Reigns hitting three Superman punches on Brock. I thought it was interesting. I just wanted to see more of a fight, more of a struggle, like that guy that you expect to lose actually holding his own against Brock. Then, when Brock hit the pole and started gushing out blood and whatnot, it's like, okay, he looked like a dominating force against Cena, Taker, but then Roman Reigns all of a sudden started getting that momentum, and then Seth Rollins comes out, cashes Money in the Bank, and becomes the champion. Now, the thing with that, the problem I have with that is, now with everything that's happened and WWE trying to save face, right? They removed the legitimacy and the importance of the Royal Rumble. You had somebody come in there, like majority of them, the winners would go on to WrestleMania and win, but just because of the fan reaction and so on and so forth, it pretty much all the Royal Rumble did was nothing. Same thing with when Sting interfered at Survivor Series. What was that? The Authority was out of power, and all of a sudden it was just undone. Why did you have a Royal Rumble when you were gonna just take the Royal Rumble winner out of it? You know,
I could add on top of that, because if you're talking about the Royal Rumble from last year, how about the one previously before that when Batista won? Despite the fact that he had a movie to make, that's okay, but he should have never had that triple threat match. It should have just been like, let's say, Randy Orton versus Batista, then Daniel Bryan could have got the shot afterwards, but it's a little weird. Like, some of these pay-per-views are kind of like useless now. Like, as you said, the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Why bother to do it if that person who's getting that build-up for the next, let's say, 2-3 months gets nothing out of it now?
Yeah. That's my anger with the outcome of this match. You know what I mean? See, because it's like all that other stuff just went to shit. It just went to shit. You know, bad booking, bad setup. It's just, they could have done that a whole lot better. You know, the Mizzle's happy with the outcome for those reasons. Like, hey, you know, Seth Rollins, yeah, it has everything to gain. You know, a good heel as a champion, but it's just like, damn, what were you doing with your product? You know, and I hope if anybody even gives a damn to watch this on YouTube or checking this out, you know, thanks to the 15 viewers, it just, man, that Royal Rumble lost its importance by how everything.
Your mic cut out.
Hello?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I had to check the volume. That's the only real issue I have with that. That Royal Rumble lost its legitimacy. Roman Reigns, unfortunate victim to bad booking, and the fact that fans backlashed at WWE because of how Bryant got eliminated. And I don't think it was fair to somebody that was chosen and given an opportunity. Now, I just look at it in terms of life. Anyone who's just trying to seek and achieve, if I'm trying to get a job and get a promotion, or, you know, a CEO is trying to make me a partner and somebody else doesn't like it, why should I fail because other people don't like the chance, the you know, the fact that I have an opportunity? People have to grow the fuck up. You know what I mean? And I just think the fans, the majority, are just like nothing more than hecklers. The audience has changed from back in the day to now.
I'd like to retort to that.
I figured you would. Go ahead.
You're describing two different types of businesses, Alex, that have no correlation to each other.
No. Mizzle, I know that we disagree,
Alex,
but I just want you to understand, and let me finish. I just want you to understand is, in general, just stripping out, you know, the business sides of things, just people trying to achieve, and no, because somebody doesn't like it, it's like, oh yeah, man, fuck that guy.
No,
you know what I mean? That's what I think the WWE fans have turned into, haters and just hecklers.
But here's the thing, like, you're describing two types of businesses. You can't make the comparison to a consumer-based business versus a corporate entity type business. If a CEO chooses you to be the next supervisor or the next manager, damn what anybody else thinks. The CEO thinks you're doing a good job, and until proven incompetent, you've got that job. Professional wrestling, you see the results of the person, the trust in the CEO or the management by the fan reaction.
I think you're missing my point, Mizzle. I really think.
But it's not haters. Like, if the fans are not liking what you're selling, they're going to reject it, and that's what the fans are there for. If you're shoving something down a fan's throat, they're not going to say, oh, I guess this is what...
No, that I agree with you, but when you jumped in, I just want you... you're still straying away from the point that I'm making. A baseline. If somebody has an opportunity for something, you know, I don't expect them to just be like, oh, you know, like, for instance, I'm not happy that Seth Rollins got the title the way he did, but look, hey, good for you. You got an opportunity. I know the fans aren't all like me, but look at that baseline. you got somebody who had an opportunity now because people didn't like it. Like, I'm not saying they'll grow to love the man, but at least respect the work ethic. I started seeing that. Cena was the first to start getting chopped down because of things like that. Yeah, the guy got an opportunity, and then unbelievable. It just blows my mind how the fans are processing things, you know?
But the thing is, nobody's disputing John Cena's work ethic. Nobody disputes that John Cena doesn't work hard. The thing that's in dispute is how he looks, how he comes off. Like, no matter what the crowd reaction is, the WWE continually forces him down their throats as the hero. Like, people are not buying what he is selling. It's the same thing with Roman Reigns. People are not buying what Roman Reigns is selling, and they're not being listened to. So rather than accept it, they're being vocal, and they're gonna be as vocal as they possibly can until things change. It's just like a bad video game.
So you mean to tell me it would have been a better sell for Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31?
People would have loved to see that match. Like, I had no interest in seeing...
Now think about it though, realistically, and like, what type of a challenge would Daniel Bryan have presented to Brock Lesnar? Like, how would that have sold? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that would have been Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar all over again, or Chris Benoit versus Brock Lesnar all over again. Nobody would have expected Daniel Bryan to win, but the sheer fact that he would have been in the match would have been enough for the fans, because Daniel Bryan is the hot thing right now. Like, he is the underdog. If he would have won, that would have been great, but nobody wouldn't have been expecting it from even a realistic standpoint.
Now, you know, so it's like people would be selling like a fantasy. Like, there's no way, story-wise or legitimately, that Daniel Bryan was going to win that. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing. Here you have Daniel Bryan, widely considered the best technical wrestler to be in wrestling in the last 15 or so years.
Mm-hmm.
And here you have Brock Lesnar, legitimate athlete, legitimate fighter, and there are ways you can make that work without Brock Lesnar looking weak while maintaining Daniel Bryan's underdog status. Like, you could have had Brock Lesnar go in there, completely destroy Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan keep getting back up asking for more, because everybody knows Daniel Bryan is as tough as nails. And then it would have taken something, like, you could have made Brock Lesnar an even bigger heel by having to do something so drastic and so extreme to finally put Daniel Bryan down, while at the same time elevating Daniel Bryan's tough as nails and playing up his tenacity.
Mm-hmm. But you know, all in all, though, why haven't the fans accepted the fact that he got injured? Right? It sucked, right? It sucked for Daniel Bryan. It sucked for Roman Reigns. They shat all over the situation because I'm not happy. You know what I mean? Yet they're still purchasing pay-per-view tickets. They're still like on the WWE network. So I'm not saying they made some fucked up decisions like back in the day, but folks still watched.
Alex,
you know what I mean?
One person does not sell a card.
No, I get that. Hell, like when I was in Afghanistan and whatever happened with the streak and all that, I wasn't happy with it. But at the end of the day, I had my 3-month blackout, and then slowly migrated myself back in. They're not gonna be able to please everybody, and that's the one thing that folks just really need to understand. You know,
yeah, but when it comes to the top of the card, that's where you are attracting the most viewers. You have to have someone up there that people want to stick around for the last 15 to 20 minutes of the show. If you look at the ratings breakdowns of Monday Night Raws, usually the last 15 to 20 minutes of the show when John Cena is featured in the main event promo or the main event match are the lowest rated segments of Monday Night Raw, because nobody's interested in seeing John Cena.
You know what? I've just come to the point where WWE fans have become like fighting game community fans. Nothing they do, anybody will ever be happy with. I'm gonna end it on that note. I want to thank the folks that are in the streams. Thank you, Jim. And the rest of the new folks who started following. Nelson, you want to take us home and any PSAs before we shut this down?
Yeah, thank you guys for watching again with this WrestleMania 31 recap that we do. Mostly either every pay-per-view or every so often we'll do this. It's not like everyday thing. We try to do as much as we can because we're doing a lot, running a network, trying to do a bunch of things. But check out our website, newgamingorder.com, if you want to have any recap on this video that we're throwing on YouTube or anything that we do, whether it's reviews, tournaments, anything. Just go there for all your latest information of what we do, newgamingorder.com. As of PSAs, there's really nothing to talk about. If you guys saw the podcast, you would know like the actual PSAs we discussed. The only thing I can say is that just stay tuned for either after this podcast or probably tomorrow afternoon. We might be streaming Bloodborne or something completely new, which I will keep quiet because if that person has it on our team, I'm probably gonna let him stream it early. So,
yep.
Stay tuned for that.
Alrighty. So, just so you guys know, we run a weekly podcast.
Yeah, someone's
Thursday.
watching it. Someone's getting a double loop. Someone got to mute that.
It's not me. Alrighty. I wonder where that's coming from. But yes, we do a weekly podcast, which is our video gaming side. So check that out. We're usually around 8 o'clock Thursday nights. And we archive it for YouTube on Friday. So we can use your support, donations, anything that can help push us forward. All right. So again, thank you. It's the support we're getting on the chat with folks viewing is great. And Mizzle, any final words before we log off?
Yeah, just be sure to watch Monday Night Raw for the fallout of WrestleMania. And I want to thank the New Gaming Order for having me on for the wrestling podcast.
All right, so
not a problem.
So,
before
you
go,
can check out free play mode. We'll probably stick a link.
Yeah,
in the
before you go, Dave, what grade do you give this WrestleMania 31?
I give it a B.
Okay, we give it a B. How about you, Alex?
Yeah, a B minus.
Okay.
It was not terrible.
Okay.
It wasn't terrible. So
I give it a B plus due to the fact that the first and second match actually sold it for me. The IC title match and let me actually take off the music. The IC title match and the Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins, that actually took it for me. So I say B plus at best. And plus, seeing some of the old wrestlers come out, seeing Ronda Rousey, throw Triple H like a rag doll, and
that was a funny segment.
that was pretty cool. And I get the fact that they're trying to push a couple of actors in movies, like the Terminator and Furious 7, which is coming out I think this Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty cool. So B plus at best.
All right, Nelson, we got a request to do a Monday Night Raw reaction. If time permitting, we can try it. We'll try it.
I will tell you this right now, guys. We will try our best because I'm not gonna lie. Everyone does work. We're busy people. We might watch Raw. I might have friends over. I might not be able to watch Raw. So. We'll see. I mean,
so we'll try. We'll try. Make sure you follow us on the Twitter and shoot us a tweet, and then we'll see if we're available to do that.
But I'll definitely let everyone know if you just check out newgamingorder.com. I'll make a post whether if we'll be able to do it or not. But it's very slim that we might do it because, like I said, I'm having company over. They normally don't leave till 10 o'clock, so I'll probably only see an hour of Raw, and I won't have anything to discuss. I'll be talking blind and shit. So we'll see, guys. If not, we'll probably do maybe Tuesday night. We'll probably do the reaction of Raw. I don't know if we'll be able to do it the same day, because then it'll give me time to catch up.
But you know what? Just know that we'll do something for you, because fans are asking for it, so we'll hook it up. So with that, we're out like the Juggernaut bitch. Make sure you check us out, and thank you for your valued support. And we'll see you guys next time on the following pay-per-view reaction show. Peace.